Good evening, everybody. This is Mike, KO4PDI. How are you tonight? I hope you're doing well. Well, I made an attempt to get everybody I know that I talk to on satellites to get on the live feed tonight. And nobody's here. It's just me. So you're stuck with me. So maybe I better be funny. Maybe I should do a magic trick or something. I don't know. Okay. Well, since nobody's watching yet except me, because I'm looking at it. Hey, Roger's here. All right. We got Roger in the group. Hey, Roger, good to see you. Glad you're here. Hey, Roger, if you care to, I would love for you to click that link just above your uh, comment there and come on with me. You're more than welcome to join me. We're going to talk satellites. We're going to talk about why we like doing satellites. We're going to talk about the equipment we use, what works, what doesn't work, stuff like that. And then I also set up a poll on my YouTube channel asking people about their favorite ham radio procedures, FT8, HF, 2 meter, 70 centimeter repeater work, anything like that. So I put it on there. And hey, Roger came to the game. Let's get Roger on the screen. How you doing, Roger?
Good. I do. Well, turn down your sound here to try to.
Am I too loud? All right, Roger's setting up his computer there. Oh, he just dropped off. He'll come back. Anyway, yeah, we do all kinds of different things with satellites. I have a Yaesu rotor. I have a sat box. I have two Yagis on there. I got a great contribution from November 9 HF Hotel Fox. He sold me a nice Yagi for 2 meter and 70 centimeter. So we'll see if Roger gets back. We're waiting to see if he comes back on. I'm watching the YouTube feed. He's still there, but he actually dropped. There he goes. Just dropped off on the YouTube feed too, and now he's back. Hey, Raj.
Okay, I'm actually hearing two different. I'm hearing two different soundtracks. I'm not sure how to fix that.
Probably turn the sound off on your stream. Are you streaming it too?
Yeah, I am. How am I going to do this? Okay.
Just hit mute. And then you should only hear me and you.
I'm trying to find it.
So what are you using, OBS for your video? Are you using OBS for the video?
All right. Whatever you have, whatever link you sent to me is what I have.
Oh, okay. Well, your background removal tool is kind of messed up, like mine used to be. That's why I asked.
That's because I have the satellite picture here.
Right. Well, I hear you, and we could talk, and that's a good thing.
And I don't see a way to put it on mute, so that's what's.
Are you looking at yourself on there too? Because if you're hearing two different sources, you just muted the stream to me.
Okay, nope.
Are you watching it on YouTube?
I'm watching on YouTube on the computer.
All right, mute the YouTube feed.
And I can't find a way to do that.
Well, if you move your mouse over the screen, you'll see on the bottom left there's a pause button, and then there's a button with an arrow, and then there's a speaker. If you see the speaker, just click on it. It'll make it put a line through it. Technology, folks. This is technology. We love playing with technology, don't we? We're ham radio operators. I love it. We got 5 people watching there, Roger, and it ain't just you and me. Go ahead, talk. I hear you now. Now you muted yourself.
The problem is that when I mute it, I mute you and not the live stream. I still can't find anything on the live stream that says it lets me mute it.
All right, if you go over to YouTube and you move your mouse over with the video, I'm doing it right now. It works. You'll see on the bottom line a red line come up, and underneath that, there'll be a speaker next to a pause button. Do you see that?
And I can't find that, no.
Oh, come on. We're ham radio operators. We can figure this out, Rod. Come on, Roger. Anyway, hey, Roger, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? You've been on here before. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm hovering over here. I'm sorry, it's nothing is coming up other than the crawl across the space at ko4pdi.com is my homepage and that kind of thing. You're in the show. Everybody can see and hear you, which is embarrassing. I'm sorry. And if I put on mute, then it mutes me to you and not the right mute. So
did you hit mute now? You should be listening to me through the StreamYard page only. You should have that turned on. You just turned off your mic just now. I don't want you to turn off your mic. I want you to turn off the audio from YouTube. So if you, or just close the YouTube window. Just close that window and stay on StreamYard.
no.
Now you dropped out. Imagine we talk to people on satellites and we can't figure this part out. I love it. Anyway, so what we're going to talk about tonight is any ideas you have that you love. Do you love doing? Do you do FT4 through satellites? I want to do that. I haven't done that yet. I would love to do that. So I would love to get people on here like Mike. November 2, Mike Tango Mike was his previous call sign. Michael Hernandez from down in Fort Myers area, Florida. He's the one that got me started on IO 117. And we did a good job with it. It was a lot of fun. And he's trying to get me to get on FT4 on the satellites because you have RS-44 has an FT4 signal. And there's a couple of other ones that have that. So I like getting on there. And oh, Roger's back. Let's see how we made out.
Okay. I think what happened is there are two different screens, one of which is the live stream, and it was covering up the YouTube channel. So I had to cancel that out and mute the YouTube and then come back in because it was covering up the other screen. Okay, but I'm here.
So he's here. So Roger, I know you like to use that setup you see behind you, the Yaesu rotor with the Alaskan antenna. Works really good. And that's what you used on field day when I was there. It was a lot of fun. And what made you want to get into satellites? What made you want to do satellites? Was it childhood thing? You like space and everything since you were a kid like me? Or was it something, just a challenge that you picked up and liked doing it?
Actually, we bring that up. The interesting tidbit there is that I got my license in the 50s, and we were able to listen to Sputnik go over our house. And so it was kind of hear that beep, beep, beep going. I said, well, that's interesting. So
wow.
That was not really what got me into the satellite for this occasion. The reason I got in for this occasion is I have a friend and neighbor who likes to use the handheld satellite, and it was challenging. But last year at field day, we decided we were going to try to get the 100 bonus points with the 5-watt two handhelds with a handheld arrow antenna, and we could not make a contact. We hear people, but the people who had the better antennas and the higher power, we were just not able to get the bonus points. And on top of that, using that system, we're sending out in a field at 100 degrees with 95% humidity every time a pass came over, and said, this is not working. So
yeah,
as you know, I came across your information and also the sat tracker, and I talked to a guy at HRO in Winter Springs who is very competent in this area. And he said, well, if you want to do it, this is what you do. And so I slowly added everything to the list. The only thing I didn't do was the Leo pack because I want to do everything battery portable. So even though at the house, when I make these contacts and we have contacted a couple of times from the house. I'm still using the Comet 2 stationary vertical antennas out to make satellite contacts, which makes, maybe a 60-second connection, but it kind of works.
I've gotten you on that setup. I
Exactly.
picked you up. Yeah.
Yep. We've done that.
The 8-meter antennas that I used when I first started actually would work better for you for that, because they what is it? They have an omnidirectional pattern, so you can get. Yeah, I mean, if you have something blocking you, like a building or the trees or whatever, you're still gonna have to wait till the satellite gets above those. But otherwise, they work really good. The first astronaut contact I made, as a matter of fact, was with those, so it can work, And people.
I was going to just say that the problem here is the HOA, and like the Comet vertical antennas, people can't see them. If I put something like that up, it becomes pretty obvious. So I'm relying on portable, the battery portable, as you saw at the field day. Everything is battery operated, and it runs great portable.
That was the one thing I made a mistake on. You were using an inverter to power the rotor, but it was coming off the battery, which I didn't realize it. I thought it was plugged into AC in the trailer there, but it wasn't. You were actually battery portable on everything, and I thought that was fantastic.
Everything, and that's what I want to do. Do some. It can't do it necessarily parks in the air here, because the ones that have the parks in the air numbers also have a bunch of trees. But I want to do some portable operations with the battery operation. But anyway, Det N4ILB, who is my friend and introduced me to this, said, well, if we're going to do this, we need to do something better next year. So anyway, I just went out and bought everything that I could get that would still be battery portable, and yet I can put up the Aero Alaska in the backyard and move everything out to my dining room. So I'm still doing battery portable, but I still get a better than my vertical antennas, but I can't leave it out there. So
yeah, I hear you. I found this it was a school in Australia making a lightweight azimuth elevation rotor, but they did overkill. They put in GPS and they put in all this other stuff. And yes, if you don't know what you're doing, that comes in handy. But when you have the sat box, you don't need all that. I just need a dumb elevation azimuth rotor that can move the Arrow 2 or the Alaskan to point to satellites. And if I had that, I would be running portable 24/7 anywhere I could go. I'd go to parks on the air. I'd activate a park on just satellite contacts, but I am not lugging that Yaesu rotor all over the world. I can't do that.
Oh, the Yaesu rotor, that's not that bad. As long as I can fit it into my car, which I did, and I've set it up, everything fits in the car. So I'm happy with that. When the temperatures go down a little bit, Det and I are going to go out in some of these fields and play with the battery portable.
Yeah, we got this guy here, Ryan, K5TAR, or I would like to just shorten that to K-Star. Anyway, he says, I wonder if the 5500 would survive as a mobile mount on the back of my truck.
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell you something, Ryan. Are you ready for this? I know people that have a 5500 mounted on their car. If you went to Hamcation last year, there was a gentleman there that had this little tiny car that had more radio equipment in it than I own. And it was all working. And he had multiple antennas on it. And he had, not only did he have a Yaesu rotor on the roof, he had another rotor for his beam antennas that he mounted on the roof of the car. It's absolutely hilarious to look at this guy's car. It's not practical in any sense. And as a matter of fact, now he's got a trailer he tows with that car with antennas on it. And I'm hoping to see him in Hamcation in Orlando again in February. But yeah, you could do it. You can mount it on there. It would survive. The rotor's not the problem. It's the antennas. When they're bouncing around, the things are going to loosen up. Things are going to, you don't want to lose elements on your antenna while you're driving around with it, or you don't want to catch it on a tree. It ain't like a whip that'll just flip back and forth. It's You catch one of these elements on a tree, you're going to rip the rack off your car, so you got to be careful, but it can be done. Yeah. So, it will survive it. I'm glad you like that. I know it's excellent. Yeah. So, you can do it. What I really want, I got to get, you see this guy on the chat, 75 ohm ham. That's my buddy Ziggy. And maybe I'll get him to invent an azimuth elevation rotor that'll work like the Yaesu rotor. Maybe we could buy the controller for the Yaesu and have the sap box control it. That would be the coolest thing in the world. Where you just park on a beach and you take your stuff out of the car, and next thing you know, you're talking on satellites. I would love that, because literally I'm a mile from the ocean at my house. So, anybody else got any questions? Jump in anytime you want. I'll get to them. So Roger and I met on a satellite, and then I went over to Lara, Lake Amateur Radio Association, and for field day, and we had a good time. And we've actually met each other on the birds multiple times, and on his 2 verticals, we've done it too. So yeah, it can be done. It can be done. He's down. You're down. Are you in Traverse, Florida?
I'm in Mount Dora and in Lake
okay.
County. Yeah, right, just about an hour north of Orlando.
Yeah, Mount Dora is probably an hour away from me. Yeah, that's about how long. But we had a good time on field day. I fell in love with satellites ever since I was a kid. I mean, I've been watching the space program since since Alan Shepard went up, and I followed the Mercury program. I know little trivia stuff. Who's the only original Mercury 7 astronaut that never flew on Mercury? Think about that for a second. I'll tell you who it is. If you can name all 7 astronauts, man, you're better than me. I sometimes forget. I think it was Schirra, Grissom, Glenn. Come on, think. Gordon Cooper. He was the last one to fly Mercury. Deke Slayton. That's 5. I need 2 more. Come on, who are the other 2 astronauts? Jump in, Roger, anytime. There were 2 other the 7 Mercury astronauts, but one of them never flew in space on Mercury. He ended up going up on Apollo, but he never got to fly in Mercury, and he had to wait until Apollo, which was 9 years later. But he finally did get to go. If you don't know the answer by the end of this podcast, I'll tell you at the end. Anyway, it was because he had an ear infection, or they thought he was going to get an ear infection, and they said, no, you can't fly. He's got an inner ear problem, which they overcame by the time Apollo came around. So yeah. All right. So we have one question about the Yaesu rotor. Can it handle mobile use? Yes, it can. I wouldn't use it in a mobile situation. I wouldn't be driving trying to do it. I would drive to a location and try to use it there, but I wouldn't do it while I was driving. I mean, even the ATOS, the Yaesu ATOS 120, they tell you don't tune it while you're driving. Wait until you get to where you're going and then tune it, because it can't handle the wind load. So yeah, dry day today. You know what it is? Last week, I was going to do this last week, Roger. I was deathly ill. For 5 days, I didn't get out of my bed. I went from the bed to the recliner, to the bed, to the recliner, to the kitchen, to the recliner, to the bed. It was that kind of week. Just like a flu. That's all it was. And I'm okay now. Everybody say, oh, do you have COVID? I don't know. I don't care. Whatever it was, and it ain't anymore. That's the good part. I never got sick enough not to go. I mean, I'm going to be 70 years old. I know how to take care of myself when I'm sick. You drink a lot of fluids, you take your temperature, you take a couple of Advil, and lay down and sleep as much as you can. And then you'll get better.
I do have a question for you, though.
Go ahead.
The commentary. I still have the problem with the RIT on the single sideband, on particularly one, the A073. The RIT that I have that works is 8.80. That's way off. And I'm still trying to figure out, when you have something that far off, it's sometimes hard to find where you are because it's so far off. And it took me a long time to get that far over. And I'm sort of curious about RIT and the single sideband.
Well, the secret with RIT, when you're adjusting it, if you don't see anything on the waterfall, change the width of the waterfall on your radio and talk and see where your voice is coming back. Sometimes what'll happen is it'll be because of the antennas. One is affecting the other one. The third harmonic of 2 meter is the 70 centimeter on a ISS, for instance. So you want to make sure that what you're looking at is actually your signal and not a harmonic of your signal when it's coming back to you. Like sometimes I've noticed on the uplink of 70 centimeters and a downlink of 2 meters, that's where I have my most issues. I get interference from the motor on the rotor. When it's moving, it just fills the waterfall with noise. And if I don't have the ISS, for instance, that's up on 2, down on 70. When I start transmitting, before I'm actually hitting the repeater, I see my signal coming back, which is not really my signal coming back. It's a harmonic of my signal hitting the 70 centimeter band.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you got to make sure. And then in order to jump there fast to adjust it, the best thing to do is go in. As a matter of fact, let me show you how I would do it. Which one did you say? AO what? 73?
Yeah, AO 73.
Okay, I got a pass coming up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm loading it into the SAT box right now, and I'll switch screens. All right, here it is here. Now you notice the radio's not on. Let me turn the radio on so you can see that. And I'll switch to me in the large. No, wait, hold on. I got to figure out this StreamYard thing. It ain't working. If I lose you, Roger, don't go away. I'll be back.
Okay.
All right, so here's my screen. And if you have to adjust this rapidly, like what do I have this one on? This one I have on minus 1.5 as my RIT. You can just click on the frequency, go over here and type in the RIT that you want. So if I'm on the CW beacon, let me go on linear. Okay, so here I am on the linear, and you can see in the top left of the screen here, here's my RIT is set at 1.5, negative 1.5. Now, if you go in there and it's negative 1.5 or whatever, and you don't hear yourself, you're going to have to adjust it. So you start turning the dial. If you don't see yourself anywhere, go back to this window and from 1.5, click on this and make this minus 2.0 and then hit save. And now on the satellite over here, it'll be 2.0, right? And if that still doesn't work, click on it again, go over here and change it to -3 and just hit save and see if now that's adjusting the RIT. Now, in this window right here, it shows the RIT, but if you look at the radio, it still says RIT 1.5. See that over on the right there? It's still on at 1.5. So what you got to do is you hit enable to turn it off and then turn it back on. And now the radio will switch to -3. See that?
Yeah.
I can still hear you, Roger, even though you're not on the screen. I can still hear you.
I see it. Yes.
So that's how you would quickly, instead of just trying to turn the dial, wank, 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 and you get crazy. Like I'm never going to catch up to it. Just keep doing this in increments until you start seeing your voice. Now, why it's -8, I don't know. I had this set at -1.5. I'm going to put it back to that so I don't forget it.
Well, in my case, it was plus. It wasn't negative.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's. I don't think it should be plus.
Well,
I have to try this. I don't do this satellite often, and the next pass is at 3 in the morning. And when's the next pass after that? Actually, let's see there. The next pass after that should be pretty good. But yeah, what we could do is you can go over here to view all, go over to AO73, and you click this little box right here, and a window opens up, which you can't see on the screen right now, but I'm going to add it to this feed. Hold on. Let's do this. All right, there you go. Now it should come up on the screen as soon as I turn it on. There we go. So here's all the passes of AO73. So August 1st, let's see. Let's look at the elevation, maximum elevation. Here we go, 68. That is at 4:33 in the morning. The next good one after that is at 3:18 in the afternoon. There's a 32-degree pass. I'm going to put this on my list to make sure I try it tomorrow. There's no more passes today, but tomorrow we got a couple of good passes. So I will take a look at this, and I will try to get this, Roger. I'll try to see if we can make it work.
So a comment about that, the information you just pulled up for folks who are listening is I have that capability too, but you have to pay $24 a year for the access to the future passes
The subscription.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right.
Which is, I think, is well worth it. I mean, I think it's fantastic. These guys have done what they've done. It's amazing.
Oh, I've been telling these guys this for 3 years now. And I keep telling them they got to get a booth down at Hamcation or Hamvention up in Ohio, because as a matter of fact, I don't know if they're going to Huntsville. I'm not going to Huntsville this year, but they are. And I highly suggested to them that they make a point of getting out there and selling their equipment. I told them I'm a magician. I used to work trade shows, and I will come to their booth and stay at their booth a couple hours a day, do little card tricks and coin tricks and everything, and enjoy it, get people to enjoy it, and then talk to them about satellites, because this, and I mean, I think I coined a great phrase for it. It's the Rosetta Stone of satellite trackers. If you want to track a satellite, there's nothing better than this. So, yeah, I mean, I started, now, I don't know how you started, but when I started watching, well, first my Elmer told me you could talk to satellites. And I went, what? What do you mean talk to satellites? Like, how do you talk to a satellite? There's nobody up there. What are you talking about? He goes, oh no, there's people up there. I talked to an astronaut on the ISS. I'm like, you did what? And he's telling me this, and I'm enthralled. I mean, I moved to Florida for a couple of reasons. Number one, I hate the winter. Number two, I love the space program, and I wanted to be here to see all the stuff that was going on. As a matter of fact, the first places I looked for houses were Merritt Island, right down at Kennedy Space Center, that area right there. And I looked for houses from there all the way up to St. Augustine, and I found out Palm Coast was the best kept secret in Florida, and I don't want anybody coming here. Don't come here. It's a sucky town. You don't want to live here. We don't. It's already got hundreds of thousands of people moving in. I think when I moved in here, there was 60,000 people. They're up to 80,000 people now. They're planning on 110,000 people. All I tell myself is I live on a dead end, and thank God they don't have to build a park behind me or connect my road to the main drag so it becomes a through road. I just keep me down here. No matter what happens in the rest of the town, I'm still on a little dead end street with the woods behind me. So I'm happy.
I'm going to need to bow out here. I've got a training session coming up for the weather people here. So I'm going to bow out, and I'll watch the rest of this a little bit later. But, you know,
all right, Roger, thanks for stopping by.
Well, no, thank you. I mean, your help at Field Day was instrumental. And I mean, it's amazing that we were able to get our contact within 4 minutes after. And you were sitting there helping me set up the antenna, make sure it was oriented right. And it worked. It worked great. So I'm going to.
Okay, you thank me enough now. You can stop. Before you go, I just want everybody watching to know that the reason I am streaming on X is this man right here. He made a donation to help me get on X because they changed the perimeters. You had to be a premium member to stream on X. And I didn't want to give them another penny, and Roger did. And he took care of that. So thank you, Roger.
Well worth it.
I greatly appreciate that.
Take care.
All right. You have a good night. Take care. All right, folks. So, yeah, we're getting along pretty good here. We're into this about a half hour. You got one question. That's it. Who else wants to come on and talk? You're all welcome to come on. Everybody is welcome to chat here. If you look in the comments on YouTube, there's a link. You can click on that link and you'll join me on the screen as soon as I put you on the screen. So more than welcome to come. I was trying to explain to people, you know, when I first got into it, and they said you could talk to astronauts and that just blew my mind. I'm a kid of the 60s and 70s, and I watched everything on the space program. I watched NBC, CBS, ABC, all their coverage. You're looking at a guy that when I graduated high school with my friends, we went on a trip to Florida. And it was my first time going to Kennedy Space Center. And it happened to be 1976, was the bicentennial. It was between the Apollo and the shuttle. There was no rockets going at the time. And went to Kennedy Space Center. That was when the Saturn V was just out in the open, getting rained on and rusty and all this, out in front of the vehicle assembly building. That's called the VAB. And I was enthralled. And next thing I know, the Blue Angels were flying by doing an air show. And I was blown away by that. That was my first air show I ever saw. I was 18 years old, in love with everything I was seeing, the rocket garden and everything. It was incredible. So for me, the satellite angle of ham radio really turned me on, and I loved it. And I saw my friend Greg, a lot of you know Greg, K6EGG. Greg does a live stream from his home every couple of days where he gets on HF and talks to people. And I actually used to go there before he even had his general license, and he would just do 2 meter, 70 centimeter repeaters, D-Star, C4FM, all that stuff. And he would do that. And I used to love watching him do it. And I got in touch with him. I said, how do you stream online? What do you do? How do you do that? He told me about OBS, which is the software that I use to create the live stream. And I started learning that. Well, Josh from Ham Radio Crash Course, great guy. I asked him for advice when I first started. It was about 2 or 3 years ago in Huntsville. And I said to him, I said, Josh, how do I start a YouTube channel and make it interesting? And the first words he said to me were, don't do what everybody else is doing. Okay, what do you mean by that? Don't do everything everybody else is doing. Find your niche and stick with it. And that was satellites. And I love the satellites. I started out with a 991A. Actually, I started with an Allowance HD1 with a handheld Arrow 2 antenna. Then I went to the 991A with the 2 egg beater antennas. And my first astronaut contact was actually on those. And this is before I started recording all my stuff, because I have 7 astronaut contacts. I think only 2 of them I've gotten on video, because it wasn't that important to me at the time. Now it is. Now I record everything. Even today, I did a couple of satellite passes. I didn't stream it, but I did record it with OBS. So I have all the information in case I missed a call sign or something like that. But on average now, I get 6 to 9 contacts on an ISS now with the setup I have now. And I'm going to try to keep it that good, but I am going to be changing things around a little bit so I could put up a nice multi-beam Yagi on my tower eventually, just for HF. And then the antennas for the for the satellites, they will be mounted either on my roof or someplace else. But they won't be on the tower, because I find it not fruitful to use that tower just for satellites and hanging wire antennas. I'd rather use that tower for more stuff, more important stuff. So we got 6 people, 5 people watching. We got 1 comment. We got a thumbs up already on Facebook. Thank you. Whoever did that. I didn't get to see who did it, but thank you. And I'm streaming on Facebook, but not in the group. I'm streaming on my personal page. So if you want to watch the stream strictly on Facebook and not X or YouTube or Twitch, you can go over and add me as a friend on Facebook, and I'll add you in, and you can watch the live feeds there too. So anybody else got any questions? I'm surprised Andy Cowley's not here. I'm feeling a little depressed that Andy didn't come by today. We've been on about a half hour. We got 5 people watching. Love to have you on here, Andy. Come on. I'd love to see Andy's face. I'd love to get him in here and actually stream with him on the live feed. That would be great. And Andy, I'll make you a moderator if you want that. All right? All right, so I got into the satellites after my Elmer told me that you could talk to satellites. I said, well, how do you do that? He says, I have no idea. This is an Elmer my Elmer was in the military. He was in every Afghan war, every Iraqi war. He was in all of them since Desert Storm, and he had no idea how to talk to satellites. That broke my heart. So I had to start learning. So I started learning. first place I started was DX Engineering. That's where I got to see the videos with Sean Kutzko talking about how he sets up and how he works satellites. That's also where I learned a lot of the etiquette about working satellites. So much so that I did a video on it a couple of weeks ago on a live feed, and then I edited that video and put it on my channel. So if you want to learn the correct way to work a satellite, go look up that video on my live feed. Also, make sure you check out the notes on all my videos. You'll get to see a spot where you can buy me a beer. You want to send me $1, $2? There's a great way to do it right there. You want to do, God, what else can you do on? Oh, you get discounts. I get discounts on all kinds of places, from ABR Industries, which is American-made coax. That is absolutely fantastic. All of it is rated to be buried or sun resistant, UV resistant. Then I have Ham Radio Prep. Ham Radio Prep is an online course you can take to upgrade or get your license for the first time. If you use my code HAMFUN, you get 20% off. So check that out. Also, I have EMP Shield. EMP Shield seems to be the most successful affiliate I have. And if you buy something on EMP Shield, you get a 20% discount with my code HAMFUN. So use that and you get 20% off. On that note, I guess not a big deal. Well, we got 6 people now. We got 6 people here. Somebody say something in the chat so I know you're there. And send me a question and I'll answer it for you. So once I started making contacts and actually heard my name being repeated to me from up in the sky, I knew I was on the right track. And I started working on portable ideas, and I started working on getting a home setup that I could literally push a button and be on a satellite. People say, well, I manually move my rotor, or I manually put in the frequencies into my radio. That's okay. You want to do that? That's great. I don't want to have to think that much. I want to get on and talk. I want to talk to people. That's how I got the astronaut contacts. Here we go. We got Ryan here. Ryan's seriously into this. He's getting into it. He wants to talk on the birds. Well, there's ways of doing it less expensively. I am going to be doing a video soon talking about different portable HTs that you could use to talk to satellites, different antennas you can use on an HT to talk to satellites. You don't have to get an ELK. You don't have to get an Alaskan or an Arrow 2. You could actually, and this will make you laugh, a signal stick antenna on the correct HT, and I was hearing satellites. Yeah. And not only that, I had it sitting on my kitchen counter. It was turned on, and it was scanning the frequencies, and I had built into it the frequencies of the ISS. And I'm sitting in here. My kitchen's 30 feet away that way. And while I'm sitting here, I hear the thing make a noise. I'm like, wait a minute, what is that? It was picking up the ISS through my house, right? With the roof and everything. It was picking it up. I grabbed that HT and I ran out in the street and I started making calls. And I actually heard people talking. I didn't make any QSOs on that pass. But there you go. That was with a dinky little signal stick antenna and an HT, and I was blown away by it. Actually, it was a Bofang, which is not a good radio to use for satellites. That was when I was experimenting using 2 Bofangs. I am going to tell you right now, don't waste your time. I don't care how cheap Bofangs are. You're not going to make good contacts with a Bofang. You're just not. You could hook that Bofang up to the antennas I have now, and you still won't make good contacts with it. It's not that kind of radio. That's not what it's designed for. Now, you want to get a Wouxun radio? Yeah. Now you can start thinking about making contacts with a signal stick, or even with those military tape measure type antennas. I have 2 of those. Oh, sorry. I just got over being sick, and I'm still a little tired. So that video will be coming out. Wayne is asking, that's the video I'm waiting for. All right, I'm going to make that video this week. Should be out by next week. What you have to understand is it's not just a matter of sitting in front of the camera and talking like I'm doing now. It's planning out what you're going to talk about, setting up the equipment to record yourself, recording yourself, and then when you burp or yawn or whatever, you got to erase that, get that out, re-edit it, and that's what takes time. You ask anybody who does YouTube, the most time-consuming thing we do is edit videos. Because if you want to do it right, you got to put the dissolves in between each cut. You have to put in titles onto the screen. That takes time. Background music, if you put background music on there. Yeah, you have to be able to multitask. And it's like a job. But I just started something new on my YouTube channel. I am going to start using the community tab to do polls. There's a poll up there right now. I would love for you to all go there and try to answer the question about what turns you on about ham radio. What do you use the most in ham radio? I'll show you what that poll looks like right now. Wow. Let me go back to my channel. I'll show you this in a second. All right. So now we go over to OBS. We change the screen. All right. So here's my YouTube channel right here. All right. You're looking at the YouTube channel right here. You see these tabs along here? See one that says community? I'm going to be posting things under community. So if you click here right now, here's the poll I put up. What do you spend most time doing on ham radio? FT8, satellites, POTA, 20 meter, 70 centimeter repeaters. There it is. Simple as that. So I'd love for you guys to all go and vote on what I know what I spend the most time doing is FT8. I'm guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. Why won't it let me vote? I guess it won't let me vote. I got to log out of YouTube. But yeah. I called 2 nets tonight. Oh, cool. I used to run a net. I got out of it because it's just, it's not my thing. I used to do it and there wasn't a lot of participation in it. So I decided, hey, I got more things I got to do, more important things to do than that. Yes, I'm on FT8 all the time. That's what I was going to say. I was going to vote on FT8 because literally I get up in the morning and this is going to blow your mind. I'm going to show you this right now. That's running right this minute. I am running FT8 on 20 meters right now. And you can see that runs in another 2 monitors over to my left. But I could show them to you. I got grid tracker going and I got FT8 going and I'm transmitting here. I know what I forgot to double click that first one, but this guy's not answering me. So we dump him and we move on to the next person that calls me on FT8. That's what I do there, and I love doing FT8. I love it. People say, "How did you get 25,000 views of your QRZ page?" That's how. I'm out there. I'm out there making myself known. I get on satellites. I get on FT8. I do get on HF. I love to do hunting on POTA. I haven't done it in a while. I got to get back into that, doing some hunting on POTA. As a matter of fact, I might do that tonight on the late shift after 8 o'clock here. 8 o'clock here is the start of the late shift. You understand what the late shift is? Yeah, the late shift is from 00 Zulu to 0, what is it? I think to 12 Zulu is the late shift, and anything else is no, actually, I don't know. I'm not sure, but it starts at 8 o'clock p.m. for me. Is when the late shift starts. If you want to know how to find out what time the late shift is at a particular park that you want to try to hunt, you go to the Parks on the Air website and find that, and it will tell you when the late shift starts. All right, you pull my leg. I'll show that to you. All right, so if we go over to, let's go to Sat Pass again. Here's my POTA profile. I got 36 awards I've won. My favorite is the Warthog Award. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Rover Warthog, right down here. This one. That is 6 parks in one afternoon. In about a 4-hour period, I activated 6 different parks, which is not too hard to do. A 34-mile loop around my house gets me there. But let's just say we want to go to Park US. I think it's 1926. Yeah, this is Washington Oaks Garden, and this is not far from me. If you if you look at this map over here, you see the word Palm Coast? In the middle of the M and the C, that's where I live, right there. So it's nothing for me to drive over here and get it. But now, how do I know when the late shift starts and when the early shift starts? By the way, just made another FT8 contact. Put that in the book. Look over here. How do we know? If you look over here, it says early shift award times from 7 o'clock UTC to 1 o'clock UTC. So 7 o'clock UTC for me is, what time is 7 o'clock? It's like 11 o'clock in the morning here. So I can get early shift credit by working this park early. And then over here, it says late shift award starts at 2300 UTC or 7 to 7 o'clock UTC. So 2300 UTC here is 7 o'clock. So 7 o'clock PM starts the late shift by me. When we change the clocks back, it'll be 8 o'clock at night. But right now it's 7 o'clock at night. So I can go there at 6 o'clock, activate 10 people. Listen, this is cool. Activate 10 people, right? Stay there until after 7 o'clock, activate the exact same 10 people. You know what happens? You get 2 credits. And you get credit for the late shift and you get credit for the early shift. So that's one thing you can remember that's pretty cool. I mean, Parks on the Air is saving ham radio, if you ask me, because everybody likes to go do it. You get to spend a day at a beautiful park. Now, this time of year down here in Florida, yeah, no, we're not going to do that because it's so hot. You got to wear shorts and a short sleeve shirt and all that. But also, all the bugs are alive and well, and they come attack you. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Next week, I hope to get some more people on here. We got 11 people watching right now. Thank you, everybody who watches and follows. Make sure you check the notes on all my videos for all the discounts on all the different items you can pick up and get discounts. And by doing it, doesn't cost you any more. I get a couple of pennies when you buy stuff. If you go to my homepage, ko4pdi.com, which has been streaming across the bottom of the screen all this time, you can see all the discounts you can get. You can also get a link to my Amazon store and a couple of pictures of me and a bunch of people that I've met over the years doing ham radio. April next year will be 4 years I have my license. That's it. I'm hoping to have my extra before that. I'll keep working on that. I'm studying the new questions purposely because I didn't want to take the old questions ever again because I failed the test 3 times doing that. So I want to do the new questions and get that down to a science. And this way I get my extra because I think I should get it. It make me not have to look at a band plan, although I do carry it around with me still. This is a nifty band plan. I don't know if you've ever seen this. It's just 3 pages, both sides, and it gives you every band, what frequencies are for what's for CW, what's for voice, what's for FT8 digital. Tells you all that stuff on every band. So it's a great little thing, and you can get. I think I got this at HRO. This is made by the company Nifty that makes the little books for all the different radios. That's who makes this. Same thing. So get your hands on one of these. And what's great is they're all plastic coated. So if you spill something on it, whatever, you just wipe it off with a sponge. It's nice and clean again. So you can take it with you. It's pretty rugged. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. And thank you for following me and liking and subscribing to my stream. I see 12 of you on there right now. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming by. And I want you all to have a great day. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Well, at least not without me. All right? KO4PDI, I'll be clear, 73.